What screams spouse material?
Good with kids, flattered by but not interested in every person who hits on them, knows what they want.
Not running away from responsibilities.
Someone who will have your back when things are difficult for you.
Good communication and conflict resolution skills. The ability to work through a disagreement calmly and rationally. Sees problems as us versus the problem, not me versus.
Respecting and caring about my thoughts and feelings more than they care about impressing their male friends.
Attractive, kind, caring, interesting, hardworking and good with kids.
I'm not going to lie, I thought you were exaggerating about your family. But you're not crazy, they really do treat you like.
These traits were totally green flags. They are why I married my partner. We never argue or fight. We discuss the problem at hand and work at it together. Other green flags are they don't rely on me for a complete inventory of our home and aren't helpless. When it comes to organizing, cleaning, planning and booking, we are equals.
Someone that stands up for me.
Good banter, excellent communication, ain't afraid to say what's on his mind, won't be trying to play macho man. If I want to pay the food bill, chemistry and is my best friend.
Assertive, time-to-time chivalrous. Kind but not a doormat. Open-minded, willing to communicate, listen and improve. Does not judge nor shame anyone for their circumstances. Is reliable, and is a teammate instead of an I think I just created a man too good to be true lol.
A man who can take my broken brain meltdowns, spotty memory, and erratic personality with a sense of I think some people are taking this as me being abusive and him chuckling along nervously. That's not what I'm talking about at all. As for what I am talking about, see Mr. Bennett from Pride and Prejudice for reference.
Being able to admit when you're wrong, picking your battles, but most importantly, to me, being able to open up about insecurities. Not necessarily physical, to the other partner. It makes the partner feel dependable, trusted, and reinforces that the couple is in this together instead of being adversaries or competitors. I would add to this the desire to constantly work on yourself to make yourself and the relationship better. Everyone needs polish.
Just someone who's got his act together, is after something long-term and serious, has the maturity to work through stuff and ready to share his life.
I always had a feeling that my family mistreated me, but nobody ever confirmed it and I thought, but how can my own family be like that? I'm probably just trying to be the victim. When my boyfriend met them he was like, you see that they are super belittling to you right? I knew he was the one at that point.
Responds to criticism in a non-confrontational way, doesn't get defensive, willing to work with you plus always honest.
Or caring about impressing strangers.
Once on an early date my chronic health issue was acting up. Instead of bailing, he went and got me ice cream and a care package and watched a movie with me at home. I married that one.
Heartwarming. Yes, the internal and motivated drive towards self-improvement. I myself try to be better than who I was yesterday. I expect the same ambition from my partner. Also encouraging support to keep moving forward. There's a big difference between negging at someone to be better versus being a cheerleader and offering support. We pull and drive each other forward, push each other to be stronger tomorrow.
Teamwork. That both parties in the relationship view the future as versus I don't really have thoughts anymore when it comes to bigger decisions. I'm usually thinking, would we like this, etc. Some guys I dated didn't realize that when dating I was vetting them. I would be deciding whether they'd be a good life partner. I know how a guy treats me is how he will treat his family, future kids. His level of boyfriend always considered my needs. He will help me with things without me having to ask. He pitches in with chores at my place even though he doesn't have to. He immediately apologizes if he has upset me and then works on whatever I brought up. He helps carry the mental load of running a household. He takes really good care of my dog. I know he would be a really good dad and husband. I'm not ready for that time in my life yet, but I know he would be an equal partner. With some ex-boyfriends, I couldn't see myself having equal support and felt like they'd probably want a more traditional way of doing things. All the parenting and housework falls on me, while they just go to work. I struggle with depression and I will need a life partner who is willing to step up to the plate. I will need help a lot when I'm not doing well, and I need someone willing to stick by me through bad times. My boyfriend has stuck around while I Recovered from a car accident and the depression that followed. I've always been willing to get help, so it's not the same as someone constantly having problems and not working on them, sticking in something abusive, but generally there's a reason vows say for better or for worse. He knew my normal self and was willing to help me get back to it, being patient and helping me because I was trying. That kind of loyalty and teamwork is a huge reason for why some relationships succeed and others don't. Call me
someone who is honest and not manipulative. Someone who doesn't invalidate your feelings and make you feel crazy for having them. Someone who is loyal and faithful. Someone who is willing to work with you on your marriage and not against you and tells you that you aren't working hard enough. Someone who doesn't put you down every chance they get and rather builds you up when they see you struggling. Someone who doesn't do things behind your back. The list could go on and on. Me personally, I prefer honest communication with someone I can trust to hear me, love me and see my vulnerabilities and will help me to work through them rather than to use them to tear me down.
Being with them is better than being single. We can sit around doing nothing much, and it'll be time well spent. Their company is like a warm hug at the end of a frustrating rainy day. Neither of us is seriously tempted by anyone else. We care about each other's happiness more than about each other's attractiveness or success, even though we may invest in the latter things also. We trust that we see each other as humans and care on a human level, treat each other kindly and don't default to judgment, condescension, or sexist views of how the other should be. And we are on the same page about the big strokes of how we see the future. A lot of good on paper stuff otherwise, like good career, good looks, but those things don't necessarily last nor make for a great dynamic in the long run, IMO.
So like being equally yoked?
This is a huge one. So many people run from their responsibilities as soon as they think the grass is greener elsewhere. Like another person said, security is everything. Security, trust, and be able to rely on your spouse to do the right thing for you and your family, even when things aren't all rainbows and butterflies.
It's a callback to Oxen Teens, and the yoke that puts teens together. Short version, each partner is a partner and pulls their weight more or less equally. If one falters, the other pulls a bit more for a bit and vice versa.
One of my big fears in relationships is possibly ending up with a man who will slip out when the going gets tough because he doesn't want the trouble or the effort. Too many horror stories of husbands and boyfriends who are nice when things are going their way, but as soon as babies come along and he realizes that parenting is a 24-hour job, he's gonna disappear whenever his wife is struggling and needing support. I've seen this so much, even in my own father. The whole, "Nah, I'm done, I'm just too tired, not my problem, don't care, I think I've done enough," and walk away and leave their wife to deal with everything because in his mind parenting is her responsibility while it's just something he does if he feels like it. I'm someone who has a strong sense of responsibility and could never walk away from a caregiving role no matter how hard it is. Taking care of your baby is not optional. Even if it's 3 a.m. Even if you're tired. Even if you're traveling and nearing an emotional breakdown because of children and luggage and stress. So if a future partner of mine turns out to be someone who can just drop their responsibilities, it would be the worst sort of disappointment to me. Not a lot of things worse than being let down by someone you trust to be there for you. I wouldn't be able to trust that person again after that. I don't know how generations and generations of women manage to spoil their irresponsible husbands and boyfriends. And just live with this behavior of, "I'll help if I feel like it, but it's the woman's responsibility, not mine."
Yep, we have calm and rational discussions to resolve. We had parents with terrible track records and learned really quickly as children what not to do and have worked diligently in our marriage to not repeat history. We had been married about 25 years and a terrible and unexpected loss of a family member caused me to join a grief group. After a few weeks of attending, I said something about how crazy I was about my husband and a woman a little older than I am. Piped up, "It's all so hot and awesome in the beginning, wait until you've been married 10 or 15 years. When I told her how long I'd been married, she was flat out shocked. The sad part? Every person said they thought I was a newlywed, second wife and couldn't believe how long we were married and that I liked him. The entire group went off the grief rails the rest of our session that night. It made me extra happy for me and truly sad for an entire room of adults, men and women, who had clearly been existing in unhappy unions.